Jonathan Taylor's first touch was what everybody wanted to see. Big, athletic, fast, catching the ball, and he almost scored. But everything after that reception hasn't gone according to plan. He's only averaging 3.8 yards per carry. He's supposed to have this big breakout game against the Jets, and he got over 100 yards against Minnesota, but that took 26 carries. What's going on here? Hey, Nick Whalen here. So I looked at all 3 games of Jonathan Taylor so far this year, all 22 tape, to figure out what was going on. I got a bunch of clips for us to watch, so hang in there with me, because if you know me, I always keep it real. Taylor does a good job here of finding a bigger hole. He sees the second level defender closing in and bounces outside, and now he's one-on-one with the defensive back. Everything that you want as a running back. Cut inside, cut outside. Heck, you could even run him over if you wanted to. But instead, Taylor takes way too many steps here and ultimately doesn't make a decision and becomes tackled really easily and negates a big gain. So 2 plays in a row here, Jonathan Taylor is just trying to do too much. Here he's, 4 yards away from the linebacker once he catches it, and he cuts all the way back inside, which again, inside is where 11 guys are. No one else is on the outside. I don't know if he's trying to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire or what, but he's just doing simply too much for who he is. Here he had to leave his feet, so I'll give him that, but again, he's got a few yards away from this defensive back, so again, you could run them over or go to the outside, but he cuts inside. Yes, he makes him miss, but him getting his momentum going again just isn't going to be advantageous for his game. So here we've got a zone scheme where all of the front side linemen are going to step laterally play side and worry about the first level of the defense. And then Jonathan Taylor, when he moves laterally, the linebacker is his responsibility to get him to move and see where he goes. So now the linebacker moves laterally, exactly what Taylor wanted, and there's a huge cutback lane with hardly anybody backside to tackle him. But Taylor doesn't decide to make that cut. Instead, he cuts upfield once he's past the D-end into all of the defenders instead of outside where it's open, and he gets a minimal gain. Here's another zone play where Taylor cuts upfield too soon. There's 5 guys that can tackle him. The outside's open. The outside's open. There's 5 guys here. There's actually a guy that's about to put his arm on him, and he still decides to cut upfield and get less yards than he could to the outside. Jonathan Taylor misses a big play here. So Quenton Nelson, the best lineman in blue, is coming around the corner to block the only linebacker available in yellow. Everyone else is blocked. And Taylor, with his speed, you want him in space, and it's going to be there up top. It's the wide side of the field. Both corners are going to get blocked. But instead, Taylor cuts up inside. He gets 7 yards. I get that, but there's a big play designed that he missed. Here's an inside zone play where Taylor should be reading the blocks and the defender's leverage here and cut left where the yellow arrow is, but he decides against it. He cuts right. And here's where it gets fuzzy because he is outside. All of the defenders are inside. His momentum's taking him right, but he decides to cut back, take a bunch of steps, and gets very minimal yardage here. We have a zone play to the right here, so offensive line stepping to the right. They're worried about the first level of the defense, and it's Taylor's job to influence that middle linebacker. So as they flow to the right here, he's worried about him. And you look, Quenton Nelson, left guard and left tackle, turn their defenders. It's beautiful here. They're going to be circled here in gray. And as Taylor gets to this point right here, he's already influenced the middle linebacker into the block with the center, and now he cuts back in blue. But he doesn't choose that. He chooses yellow arrow to the right. That defender, yellow circle, already has inside leverage. And Taylor just gets a minimal gain here. It's a decent gain, but there's a huge play to be had, and he just didn't follow the flow of the play. All right, we got a zone play to the left here, and Taylor's got a 50-50 shot, blue or yellow here. And I thought blue because of momentum, but he goes upfield, and now the leverage is on the right. So just cut left, cut left. Even right now, he can still cut left, but he decides to just go into the defender. Inside zone here, and Taylor has an easy choice. He could go with the blue arrow, wide open hole, or yellow, which is just a sliver, and he decides to run basically into his lineman. Taylor does a good job here of finding the initial hole, but right now, where would you go? Right, correct? He runs straight ahead into his lineman. We just watched a bunch of clips on Jonathan Taylor, and right now he's rushing his reads and getting downhill way too quickly. He needs to take his time, see what that good offensive line is doing in front of him, and use that zone scheme to his advantage because there's big plays there. In the passing game, he's acting like he's a small back instead of this big guy that has speed. Use that momentum to his advantage. This week, Chicago has been struggling against the run, so maybe he gets back on the right track. Thanks for watching.